T-shirts okay?
That's true. Currently, of course, the kindergarten grade, my sixth grader is doing the same thing. Remember when we bought our house? Ride this bike out here. Unless it's too cold. You know. Must be nice to have two hobbies.
Hey, guys.
To what do we owe this? My goodness. I know.
Soloing it, huh?
Riding solo.
Praying tonight, Terry.
Welcome to the special meeting of the Elizabethtown City Council for August the 27th. Terry Schiff, would you like to bring in?
Sure. Let's have a word of prayer, please. Our Heavenly Father, we're so grateful to be here today. Thank you for the wonderful day and all the opportunities that it brought our way. We thank you for our time together tonight as we gather and discuss some city business. And we, of course, give you thanks for all the many blessings and the way that you continue to look after us and look after our city and take care of all of our needs and your abundant love and your abundant grace in our lives. We pray that you'll help us in all that we do things that are more pleasing to you, more Christ-like. And we pray that you'll keep us safe and be with us. We ask this in your loving name.
Amen.
Thanks, Terry. Join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first order of business tonight is the second reading of ordinance number 25, 2018, amending the official zoning map for property located at 119 and 125 Helmwood Plaza Drive from Neighborhood Office C1 to Neighborhood Commercial C2. Motion to read the ordinance.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yes, Mayor, and being the second reading, in summary, this is an ordinance number 25, 2018, in which the zoning for property located at 119 and 125 Helmwood Plaza Drive shall be rezoned from neighborhood commercial, or to neighborhood, from neighborhood office C1 to neighborhood commercial C2. And this is, action is taken pursuant to a request by Cast Realty Enterprises for this property. It was read the first time on August the 20th, 2018.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Motion. Second.
This is roll call vote, starting with Councilmember Bennett.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Municipal Order Number 77, 2018, approving the operations agreement with Elizabethtown Tourism and Convention Bureau regarding the Elizabethtown Sports Park. Motion to read, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
At a special meeting of the City Council of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, held on the date set out below, a motion to read and adopt the following municipal order was duly made, seconded, and approved. Whereas the city owns property at 1401 West Park Road, Elizabethtown, Kentucky, known as Lucas Farms, Section 1, Lot 1A, as recorded in the office of the Hardin County Clerk in Plat Cabinet 1, Sheet 5395, and also known as the Elizabethtown Sports Park. And whereas the city wishes to allow the Elizabethtown Tourism and Convention Bureau to oversee the management and operations at the Elizabethtown Sports Park in a manner that creates economic impact and is beneficial to sports tourism and the overall economic development of the community as an entertainment and sports venue and supportive of all community sports programs. Whereas the city and the Elizabethtown Tourism and Convention Bureau entered into a lease agreement relating to the management and operations at the Elizabethtown Sports Park as approved by Municipal Order Number 73-2018 and signed on August the 14th, 2018. Now be it ordered that the city of Elizabethtown approves the operations agreement with the Elizabethtown Tourism and Convention Bureau regarding the Elizabethtown Sports Park. Be it further ordered that the mayor of the city and her designate be and she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this order. Read, adopted, and approved. This is the 27th day of August, 2018.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
Motion to adopt, Mayor.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hallelujah.
I can't believe in a minute I voted the same way on that.
It's scary, isn't it? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Marty, I think there's a rip in the
Sure.
space-time continuum. when we do something like that.
Ripping something. Just saying, alls I'm saying. Okay,
It won't last.
that's right.
Trust me.
Okay, call to order for the Elizabethtown City Council work session for August 27th. First, Ed Pope, going to talk about closing a street.
Wedgewood Drive is a cul-de-sac street out in the Briarwood Forest subdivision. It is another one of the streets that is on paper only. It's never been constructed. The map we're showing or passing around to you all shows Briarwood Circle. It is a right-of-way that was dedicated on your maps. The last two PBA numbers are 035 and 037, if you see the white line kind of. So it is between those two pieces of property. The adjoining property has been purchased. The subdivision was originally started by Phillips Brothers. Will Harris Homes is now the developer. And he has been working with the property owners who own, again, just the last digits on the PBA numbers 036 and 039. And the proposal is to bring a street in from the other section, the new section of Briarwood Forest, if you will, so that they would not go through this older section and create a street. Went before the Planning Commission March of this year, I think, and got preliminary plat approval. And I have that drawing also. What the change is.
Yeah, there's two old 36s. There's that
Yeah, I was
02.
gonna-
Yeah, there's two
And then
of them on there.
see,
Sorry.
So I'm gonna guess it's a 36.
Well,
Left over there, I guess. Platted there.
this and these, it is a platted right of way. So there are lots
Where that
on
white
each
line
side.
is.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
right.
okay.
So I'm gonna, like I said, complicated what they're wanting to do. Got multiple properties. Right. So this is Briarwood Circle, so that's the current right of way. So that's this
This
line.
right here, okay.
That-
Yeah.
This is Briarwood, so that's this. What the proposal is to close the existing right of way, which like I said, is on paper. If you ride out there, you will not be able to find it. 50 feet between two
The
homes
two,
out there.
okay.
Actually, it's a small drainage area. I think it's drainage ditch property around the street. What they're would like to do, and they've got all the property owners working together on this, is close the right of way. So that affects 1, 2, 3, 4 property owners. And they're going to bring the street in from the other direction
And
where
do
they're
it.
developing
And do a cul-de-sac.
and do a cul-de-sac. They're gonna, once the road is changed, then they'll get into multiple property exchanges between all these property owners. Help reference you all. This property, which is 035, that's where Dr. The last.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
Inman's house.
And
So
so,
the Inmans own where their house is and a lot behind it,
Mhm.
okay, it's on the plat.
So they own the 036.
They
Oh,
own,
two.
that's
Yeah,
correct.
oh, two.
This one, which would only have access off that right of way, is owned by Dr. Wolf. Okay, but they've all been talking to Will Harris about changing the road alignment, having lots off the new road and not through.
That being a drainage ditch, how's the drainage gonna be affected by that?
Typically, when we close a right of way like that, we will retain easements through the area to make sure that it's a multi-purpose easement for drainage. So even though the right of way, the street, so there won't be a street built there in the
Right.
future. Because of that, we will retain easements. So what they'll probably do on that section of it then is that will become the common property line, so we'll have easements on both sides.
But their property they will actually take ownership of the property and we'll just have an easement there.
Correct, correct. And then as part of the subdivision, to address the overall drainage,
Mhm.
they're submitting plans to the stormwater department, and they are creating a new basin in this development to control it before it then goes into the village.
And that won't be so severe there for that drainage that they can mow it and maintain it
Correct.
just with
And
their
which is what
regular,
they do now.
which is what they do now.
where would that basin be at in, what, 31?
It's back in this corner,
Okay,
in that
okay.
area.
But the Emmons were having some drainage problems on the other side here. Is that,
There is a large ditch that runs in the back
yeah, it's,
when it
It's in the back
rains. I know
of-
because when I was a kid, after it rained, we used to go back here and play in it. It runs the back through that field and it takes on a lot of water, but when there's too much, it certainly rains. And the natural flow goes towards Ring Road out that way. Yeah, that way out towards Ring, and it hooks up with a creek eventually, I think, as I recall.
They'll have to submit for the overall subdivision development, all their grading and drainage plans. Go through the stormwater, and like I said, right now, the preliminary proposal is to create a basin in that area.
Now, Ed, I know a couple of the property owners have contacted me on this, and once they heard wind of it, they were concerned, their biggest concern is the density of homes and how close it is to their property. In other words, they moved out there for that seclusion. In fact, when my father first developed this, the rules were it needed to be on 2 acres. And so now we've got the high density, well, they're worried about the high density coming behind them and sort of ruining that seclusion that was originally proposed, part of the development.
I mean, I know a number of years ago, when the preliminary plat was originally approved for that development, there were a number of people from that area that came to the meetings before the planning commission. I will tell you that the proposals that have all been submitted, all meet the city's zoning regulations for appropriate lot sizes and that. And yes, Bill, I mean, the density in this area is greater than the first sections of Briarwood Forest, but this community has very few developments that are at 2 acres or more. With subdivision, with sanitary sewer in areas, I think this development's about 3 acres or 3 units per acre, which is still under the city's regulations is not classified as high density. Yes, it's higher than the existing development, but it's still not, and it's a single family only development.
So do the other homeowners in that area, like the Emmons, they have no problem with this? I think it's a great idea.
They've signed off on the initial consent and request. I mean, we'll formalize a little bit more of that on the forms that the city always uses for consents, but we'll get all their agreements before we present it to you all for final approval. But since they've been through the planning commission level and are working on more of their improvement plans, it was appropriate to make you all aware that it's probably going to be before you all in the next 30 to 45 days.
Ed, how many families will you need to contact, send a letter? let them
Everybody
know
that
their
it touches.
opinions? Well, that's what I'm wanting to know, the number. of
There will be,
persons that
I think, 4 people involved, but from what I understand from talking with the design engineer on this project, that Dr. Wolf has actually gone out and met with every property owner in the subdivision and talked to them about it. So, I mean, they as property owners, they did that on their own initiative. It was not required by the city. It's not required by the statutes, but I was told that Dr. Wolf actually went out and he's met with every one of the property owners out there. So,
All right, thank you.
The detention basin is going to keep it going towards Briarwood, or is going to
Robert can address that better for you.
close away from Briarwood?
And the contractor's gonna be building that, right?
Built as part of the.
That it?
Okay.
Okay, Jeff Hawkins.
Thanks, Ed.
I'm glad to see you brought all that back up.
About a year ago or so, I kind of brought this up that this was eventually going to be brought before you. But we've done a lot of research and we're wanting to make some changes to our policy on how we do our any kind of fees we have with our utility department. There's also some miscellaneous fees. I think you all should have a copy of the changes. I won't bore you with reading every single one of them, but some of the basic changes are we're wanting to remove all the references to the water collection and the sewer collection because we're not doing that right now. So we thought we're going to try to clean those up. The ones that will be of most interest to you all are the fees that we're asking to implement that are going to be new. Currently, we have basically a disconnect fee. So if someone doesn't pay their bill and we have to disconnect and reconnect their service. The ordinance, I believe, states $10 to $20. We've actually been charging $20 to $5 for some reason, but we're wanting to increase that to $50 or Meade County 75. The reason Meade County is more is because it's such a long drive out there. And you can't just go out there and turn the gas service back on. You have to wait a while, depending on the age of the house and how it's set up. You have to wait to make sure that there's no leaks. So we're asking for a $75 fee to go to Meade County. If you tamper with
Jeff,
your,
it's not a range, it's 50
50
for Reading and then 75 in Meade County.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
that's,
Tampering with your meter, it's not often, but we do have some people that if we turn a meter off, they will go back there and turn it back on. So we have a fee. I think it's anywhere from a range of $10 to $200 in our ordinance. We just want to make it a flat $50 fee, takes the ambiguity out of it. Then if they do it again the second time, we reserve the right to remove the meter. We've had people, I think we had a couple just about a month ago that have done that. They'll go in there, if we lock it, they'll cut the lock off, turn it back on. It's not like a water meter to where if you mess something up on a water meter and turn it back on, then water's going to shoot everywhere. Gas, you could do a lot of damage. So we don't want anybody that's not trained to be able to do that. Let's see. We've got what we call a voluntary turn-on fee. This rarely happens, but if someone wants to suspend their gas service, maybe they're going out of town for a while. We've been doing that for free. I think the ordinance says $25. We're wanting to make that a $50 fee, just to kind of make it, okay, think about before you do this. Just wanted to make sure we had this fee spelled out. One of the big ones is an increased fee or increased deposit. We only charge a $50 deposit currently on new gas service. We're wanting to increase that to $100. This wouldn't affect anybody with existing service, only new customers. What we do with that deposit is we do hold it, and whenever somebody finals out, or if we have to turn off their service for some reason and we final their account out, we take that deposit and apply it against their balance. And then if they owe us money, we send them a bill for the remaining balance. If we owe them money, we cut them a check for the difference. But the $100 will ensure us that we get more of our money should they happen to leave. We're also wanting to do a non-payment penalty. We toyed with the idea of interest. A lot of people charge interest and penalties. We're just wanting to do a flat penalty, a 10% penalty. So if you don't pay by your due date, it's just a flat fee. We've done a lot of research, and that seems to be the norm in other municipalities on their utility service, just do a flat fee. It won't be on any taxes, it will only be on the actual service itself. Let's see. And then we're wanting these changes to be effective December 1st. The reason why we're doing December 1st is because right now, not a lot of gas usage is being used right now throughout the community. But once the winter starts, we know that's when people typically will, for whatever reason, quit paying. Now, we know some people have problems paying just due to lack of funds. We also know some people just don't pay. Giving an idea of how many we're dealing with right now, and with our new system, we're able to better track this. But to say out of our 8,500 customers, I think we had this last month 1,700 that were past due. Doesn't mean they're not paying anything, but it just means that we've had 1,700 customers that have a past due balance. Our hope is that we don't collect any of these fees. If everybody pays on time, then we're good to go. But we want to kind of make it to where, okay, if you don't pay, you have a little skin in the game too. It may cost you a little bit more. Basically, in a nutshell, we're trying to run it more like a business. It's not like the general fund where this is all public. We're doing this for the public. We have services to offer. We have to buy the gas. We have to get the gas to your house. We have to do all the service around the work. So we just want to run it like a business. We give you gas and you pay for it. Think about it as a restaurant. You don't go to a restaurant, eat your meal, and say, "Oh, I'll get you next time." That just doesn't work. So it's kind of like what we're doing here. It's like I said, the goal is to never collect any of these fees, but they're there in the event people don't pay. We're hoping to get that 1,700 number down considerably to where we can really truly deal with the people who can't pay, not just people who don't want to.
Deposit fee for gas, recommend increase that from 50 to 100. How often now do we get burned, or do we go into that $50 at the time that they leave or whatever? I'm just curious.
Anytime somebody finals out, and of course, gas can be different. I mean, if somebody leaves us right after wintertime, then their balances could be pretty high. Now, if they're typically paying and they leave, a lot of times if they pay regular, we owe them a check back.
A check back.
Right.
But when they leave, we take it out of that.
Yes.
That last.
What we always do, if they still have a deposit on file, some people come to us and say, "Hey, I've been a good customer for years. Can I have my deposit?" They request it. We'll typically give it back to them. But if they still have a deposit on record and they terminate service, either voluntarily or if we do it, we final their account out and we take that deposit and apply it to their balance. So if they have a $50 deposit currently and they only owe us $40, we'll give them a check for $10 back.
I get from 50 to 100 is a little steep, and I noticed it's for homeowners and renters. I just wonder how we came up with 100.
I think we do 100 for commercial right now, correct?
We do 100 for commercial.
Yes.
So renters, property owners, commercial gonna be the same thing.
And sometimes it's the volume we're dealing with too, because the gas typically for a normal home or rental is $6 a month if they're not using anything. We do charge a minimum bill, so you can accumulate several months of $6 and still be under your normal deposit. But it could take 1 month for gas service.
What's the initial deposit for water?
We don't do that anymore.
You don't do.
I know.
Oh, is it?
What it is?
Is it 50 or 100? With water district, it was higher than ours. I think ours was 25, I think, before.
I think it's
A lot of people actually are doing now, they're doing credit checks.
You said 100. And most of them don't differentiate between a renter or a property owner or commercial or.
Some of them did, but most of them it was.
I think sometimes commercials are even higher than that. And
commercial will be higher.
commercial will be higher, yeah.
Right.
But a lot of people are actually going to now, they're doing credit checks initially and basing your deposit on your credit check. We haven't done that. We're not proposing to do that either right now, but that's what a lot of people are doing.
Established service somewhere and you're moving, a renter or owner, whatever, and you have established service with us and you don't pay a new deposit fee just because you've gone to a new address.
If you're moving
right?
from one place to another, we should be able to just move your deposit over. This would be somebody who's a totally new customer for us. You know, they have nothing established with us, and
But if you're just moving, you would change the service from one address to
yeah, we
the
should,
other.
because we'll final you out on one and move you over to the other. Yeah, we can just transfer things over.
We wouldn't pay a service charge to disconnect the service at the old house?
Uh,
I think we,
No, I don't think so.
yeah, but I'm
If you're
thinking we're,
moving from Broadway to Main Street, what's gonna be your fees?
But you're cutting off Broadway and moving to Main or transferring it to Main. So
I don't think there'll be new deposit. I'll have to check on the connection fee.
Or
see
would
if there's
that
a
be
connection
under
fee.
the deposit?
I don't think y'all do. I don't think we
I don't
take a
think
new
they do
deposit.
either, 'cause
charge.
I just did.
I don't think we do either, but I don't want to
We
say,
charge a disconnect.
Right.
No.
charge,
Right,
is what I
correct,
meant.
Yes,
Mm.
no.
And we don't charge a new hookup for the new address either.
and the disconnect fee, basically we're talking about is only for non-payment.
For non-payment.
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
The disconnect fee is really only for non-payment. If we have to go out there and turn you off because you're not paying your bill. And it is unbelievable. I mean, the guys they're going out every day and they're turning people off. And we didn't do it for the longest time, but now we're having to because it just keeps growing.
Of those
How late,
1,700
yeah.
that we have past due, how many of those are in rental units?
It's not near as bad as what it was when we had the water.
We ought to be like the county and the trash and the garbage. Like on the landlords.
We've talked about that as well.
So
Well-
how far out, how past due are these 1,700? What's the,
I mean, some could be over the 30-day limit. We have it, I just have it with me, but you have some that are months and months and months. You have several that are still in the books, but that we've pulled their meters because they don't have service. But like if we may have turned you off, but you still have a meter. So if you still have a meter by ordinance, we still charge you a minimum bill. So some of that continues to grow as well. So we're also looking at after a year, if you've been turned off for over a year, we're going to finally go out and pull the meter. That way it won't continue to grow, but it'll be like if you come back in to get new service, you have to pay a new deposit and basically get your meter back.
so have they moved or are they still living in the house that we shut the service off?
And in some cases, they're still there. I know we have a business that I don't know what they're using for heat because they don't have a meter anymore. And we pulled the meter, but the balance is really high.
So going from one home to another within the city, existing home, no charge, no disconnection fee, no charge to go to the.
No disconnect. I'll verify on the
Well, let me
connection
ask you
fee.
this, how about going from a old home in the city to a new home that's been constructed in this construction? Does that make a difference?
I mean, whoever pays the tap fee on that, get the line and everything there, you would have to pay those kind of things. But I think as far as there wouldn't be any difference on a new home versus an old home, I don't believe on moving. I do want to check to see if you move, if you have to pay any kind of new service fee. I don't think you do,
I don't think so.
I don't think
When
you do,
moved
but I'd rather
from
check to
town
make sure.
where I live now,
Yeah.
I didn't pay.
but it wouldn't be a new deposit or anything because you're an existing customer. That would go with you.
Jeff, do we try to work these 1,700 that are past due? I mean, with a call, or we just,
No,
we
we
just accumulate it and hope that.
we try, and typically before we turn you off, we tried to work with you as well. And we notice this, some people will try to work out a deal and we try to work with people as much as possible, but a lot of times it's the same people.
Yeah.
Over and over. And you can understand something happens one time, you don't pay. You could forget to pay. Everybody's done that. But when it's the same people over and over, you gotta, I don't want to say you gotta make it hurt a little bit, but you gotta give them an incentive to pay. We've got plenty of reasons. We do have online payments now, so you can pay that. You don't have to send a check in, you can pay with a credit card.
Are we continuing to try to promote that?
Now, these folks are not paying, is this because they're just being irresponsible, or maybe they're impoverished and poor and can't afford it?
It's probably some of both. We do have people that come in and, they'll say for whatever reason they can't pay, and they've gone to churches, they've tried to get help, and we do try to work with them as much as possible. When it's
So,
multiple
so
times,
Jesse, Really, when Tony Scott, better known as the ranch, Corey's predecessor. We really tried to work with people. Steve Park will attest to this. We wound up with a used Cadillac. We had a chainsaw.
we're not taking chickens or anything yet, but
Charlie, remember that?
yeah, I mean, we try to, we
went
will work with
overboard
people.
on that.
I mean, we do work with people, but like I say, we see some of the same people over and over. And if they say I can't afford it, but then you look out in the parking lot when they're leaving and they're in a
Yeah.
brand new car.
And they get a cell phone.
Yeah, and honestly, I look on social media sometimes at some of these people, if they say they can't pay, and if, you can tell a lot by what they put on there, so, you get a
see lot
feel,
of it in church, and, you know, we always say, especially to our members, get to us before you get those late charges, because you eat up a lot of
Yeah.
ability to help paying late charges.
I mean, honestly, I had a lady say she couldn't pay because her daughter was dying of cancer,
Their daughter was what?
dying of cancer. And her daughter's fine today, never was in the hospital or anything, and I'm thinking, okay, don't use those kind of excuses.
Oh, you.
It's a miracle.
It-
in
she
other
was-
words,
she
you're
was-
trying to tell those people lied to you?
No,
Yeah.
she lied to him.
And I'm thinking that's an extreme. You know, a lot of people just say, well, I can't pay, I was in the hospital, or I was doing this. We try to work with you as much as possible. And typically, if you get to the point where you're being cut off, it's well beyond the 30 days. It's probably at least 60 days. And
Do we have a program that actually helps people that really can't afford it? Program.
we don't here, to my knowledge, we never had any kind of a
If-
program.
If someone goes and gets help from, there's several different groups. There's, of course, Helping Hand of Home. There's St. Vincent de Paul, the churches, and also Community Action, all have funds available. And there is a process. I mean, it's one of these situations where everybody's kind of gotten together and said, let's stop handing out money. Let's start trying to help people. You know, do they need some budget planning? Do they need help, you know, looking at their spending to try to help? Because if you're just shelling out money, you're not going to solve the problem at all. So you got to change behavior. And that's what we usually find, is that there needs to be a change of behavior. Everybody can hit a bump in the road. Everybody can. And so you got to realize where those bumps in the roads. And the quickest thing is when you get a call, and they say, well, can you help me with my utility bill, my electric bill, whatever? I said, yeah, come in. I've got an application I want you to fill out because I want to look at your finances. Click. You're not going to hear from them.
And they go from church to church to
Yeah.
church. And remember,
Yeah.
a few years ago, the churches got all on the same computer program, because to track, if I gave them $500 today, and then next week they're at your church, and next week they're at your church, something.
It's a
Yeah,
cycle.
I guess my biggest concern is the elderly on a fixed income, and, you know, it's a choice between their medicine or their heat. I'm just, you know, concerned that we don't shut off their gas during the winter.
We never do.
don't ever do that.
We have a basically,
That's good, that's
yeah.
what I'm asking.
No.
And that's what I'm saying, is during the wintertime, you don't have to worry about it, but that's when a lot of people build it up. It's because they know we won't turn them off during the wintertime.
Right.
And they'll make it all through the winter, and, you know, Meade County has some residents that do that. They'll get it shut off in April, you know, when the temperatures rise, and they won't pay until the first cold snap in October. You know, then they'll come in and pay the balance. And we're trying to avoid all that, because Meade County, especially, the farther, when you have to go that far out, and if you have one to turn off or turn on, that could take a person half a day, because by the time they wait around there, and we don't have the people to do that.
Well, can't they pay like a flat monthly fee that
we do.
helps so that when the winter months come in?
Budget,
We don't have budget billing right now, and
We
that's,
don't?
we had it in our old system, but it's one of the things, the trade-offs with our new system that doesn't work well. So,
Spend
yeah,
all that money on a beautiful system.
Everything else does great.
Bill.
there's so many improvements, but that's one thing that the company's still trying to refine.
I would suggest that you try and work on that. The other thing that
Yeah.
concerns me is if you change the language that says all bills are due or payable 10 days from the date of this bill. So if it takes 2 days, now they're down to 8 days.
Yeah, it should, 10 days that should be increased. We're actually doing it longer than 10 days right now.
Yeah, but I mean, this says 10 days.
yeah,
so
we'll change
we need
that.
to Change that. And the other thing is, if somebody's got a $50 bill and you're gonna charge them $20 for being late a day, percentage wise, that's 40%.
You're a loan shark in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not right.
Would you rather
And
try to do
then
it
the
on
other thing
a,
is that they get a little behind, and then next month they're a little behind, do you charge them the $20 again? Because they'll get into a cycle that you'll never get it back.
Right. That's one of the dangers. For those that are legitimately in need of help.
Yeah, so I would suggest that you change the 10 days to something. that's
10 days will
more-
be longer,
What,
yeah.
what if I'm on vacation and I get back and heck, my bill got here and I'm still on vacation for 10 days? Well, when I get back, I owe you $20 just because I wasn't on the automated pay plan. And some people don't like that. So you need to get, and plus you got some time for the mail to be delivered, and then you've got weekends. So it doesn't say 10 business days. It just says 10 days. So
yeah, that 10 days should be increased,
we
you're right.
work on that a little bit. And
10
then,
days after.
but this says date of the bill.
Oh, is that?
Is that old language?
The date of
From the
bill.
date of bill.
Day of the bill.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says bills not
yeah, I got
paid in
you.
10 days after the
Yeah,
due
so
date.
10
Yeah, but
days
the next
after the due
line-
date.
But the next line says all bills are due and payable 10 days from the date of the bill. If not paid within this
Yeah.
10
That was
days
the
of the bill.
previous.
Oh, yeah, that's,
So
that's right. That's previous language, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
In parentheses.
Yeah. And we did have problems initially when, because the mail all of a sudden started slowing down. So we did have problems with that and we did allow more time.
Well, I think we need to get the budget program back in, because I
It's-
know a lot of people that would do that. When their bill's $6 a month, you say, we'll pay $15 a month, and it helps.
And
Less gas in the summer.
we're a lot more likely to work with people if they pay anything.
Mhm.
I personally have worked some deals with people to say, you know, you owe us $100. How much can you pay a month? You know, can we get it paid off in 3 months? Stay current and pay $33 a month. And people will say they'll do it. And the first month they'll miss it. And then they'll come back the next time they get turned off and say, well, can I work a deal? And we pull it up and we got notes of when we made the deal last time. I mean, I've had the same people in my office 3 or 4 times sometimes.
In the budget billing though, do they decide what they want to send in, or do we agree on a monthly amount that they're going to
Can't do
send in? No?
I think
Can't do
it's,
budget billing now.
That's
No,
what
but
we're
I'm saying
saying.
No, if we-
get it
Let's
back,
get
yeah.
it back.
I think it was based on previous 12 months.
In the
Okay.
past, it was
Yeah.
based on your previous.
Yeah, previous
By
history.
12, and
Yeah.
then you paid, okay.
It wasn't a whole lot. It was less than a couple hundred, I think. Yeah. So it wasn't as many as you think. You think people would, as many
But at
people's
least
complained
it's an
about it.
option for these past due people
Yeah.
that are
But
consistent.
it's obvious you do, I agree with you. You have to do something that gets you more in line with a business-like protocol on it, because you got 20% of your customers that are in arrears.
And
You
we
can't
have,
do that.
we've had people come out and flat tell us, I said, the reason I didn't pay you is because you don't turn me off, you don't charge me interest, you don't charge me fees. So you're the last on my list. And that's what we want to try
Because
to,
every other utility and every other company
Yes.
deal is doing
Everything else.
and most of them have no mercy at all. They'll just, you know, it's a computer that cuts you off. So,
I strongly encourage us, because we spent amazingly a large amount of money for this walk-on water software.
it's doing a great job.
But the fact that it can't do budget billing, or they can't,
The reason that it was having problems is something about the way the budget, if you run a budget billing, the next bill you received, if you say you're in a low cycle of what your bill is and you've already paid, it would show like you've, I think got a credit, I think out there. So it didn't show the amount, the credit right.
Correct.
I think it would work right, except for it would look like you didn't know as much as what you did on the bill. And it wouldn't tell you how much to pay.
but that's just a change in programming. And
Yeah, it's,
why they couldn't, Chip's got somebody to help you if you need it.
well,
I mean, I just think
I-
that's
I-
something.
I thought-
even if
we
it's
can
200
revisit it.
people,
yeah, we can
gotta have
revisit it.
that service, because
But like I
no
say,
one
there
can
was-
do it with theirs.
There was probably only at most a couple hundred people that were on it. And that was back when we had water and sewer. We had
Right.
14,000.
But when you
Customers.
get somebody that calls and says, I can't pay my bill because it's 3 times what the normal rate is, you could at least then say, then you need to go on budget bill.
Budget, right.
Yeah, or it makes some kind of payment. A lot of times I can't pay it at all, so I'm not gonna pay anything.
Jeff, when did we stop in budgeting?
A Couple of years.
Yeah, well, we got.
Do we
new
have any
software.
data to show that when we were doing the budgeting, we had reduced number of arrears or past dues versus?
No, because, and that's, I say no, because our old system did not, it was really hard to get any kind of a report on past dues or anything.
I mean, I'm speculating, but I think if we had the budget program, that might reduce that. But that's just speculating at this point. That's why I wanted
It's-
to ask if you have the data on that.
We can look at it. I got a feeling though, if you're on budget, you're paying your bill anyway. Because people that were getting turned off in the old system are getting turned off in the new system. And it's not just the people that can't afford it. We know people, we see it every day, people that, we know what they do for a living, we know everything about them, and they're getting turned off.
Sometimes people are just forgetful. Busy.
Honoring.
If,
Yeah.
would our software accommodate, if we just do go to that, what we're using now, would that accommodate it, Jeff?
The things we're proposing? Yes.
No,
Oh.
the budget.
Not the way it is now. So we can look and see if they're making any improvements in that direction. But as it is now, there was issues on the budget billing. that's why we stopped it to begin with. We actually implemented it when we first went to the software, and so many complaints by the people that were on it that we just had to turn it off.
I just can't believe that we didn't have more than, you said, 200 KU. I mean, I use budget billing on KU. I can't believe that people don't. I would
It's-
encourage us to look and see if our software, even if only a small percentage.
We can revisit it.
of people, I think
Or
we can
especially
grow.
the ones that are constantly past due. This is
Well,
where you
yeah.
gotta go.
And on most software programs, you're allowed some verbiage there that you can create yourselves regardless of the mathematics on it. And if you could put something on there that says, regardless of your statement, you know, if your statement shows a credit balance and you're on a budget plan, still you need to make your monthly budget
Yeah.
payment,
Payment.
even if it's showing a credit. In other words, give them some instructions there that even if you have a credit balance, if you're on the monthly budget plan, make sure to make your monthly budget payment. Then you can do that.
And Jeff, I just want to encourage you and empower you. You're the customer for the software company. So if this is something you want, then work with them and know that we're going to support you in trying to get that software to do what you and the city needs it to do. And when they just say, oh, it won't do that, well, okay, do we need to look at another bit?
Yeah.
You know,
And probably the only reason we didn't do that was because we didn't get the pushback from the customers that weren't using anymore.
Yeah.
Initially, it was like, why are you doing that? I don't like that. But then after that, it was, nobody said anything.
Yeah.
So we didn't, our customers didn't really bring that need to us. But we can revisit it and see if they made any
I got one
improvements.
customer you'd make real happy.
Even if a small percentage, I think. we
Yeah,
ought to-
we'll check it out and see if they made any improvements. Uh-huh. But, so as far as anything you want us not to do or make changes to,
The only thing that, and that's just me, but I don't think 10 days, even if it's, I don't know what the due date is. Is the due date 10 days out and then you've got another 10-day
think
grace
it's-
period?
I think it's, yeah, I'm gonna say 14 or 15 from the
That's
date of the
Probably
bill.
not too bad then.
No.
Yeah.
They've got that much, that's
Yeah.
not.
You got 24 days. to
That's
pay your
probably not-
bill.
Yeah, initially it was 10 days and then whatever happened with the mail, people weren't getting them. It would take 4 days to get across the corner.
And then the
So
only
then we
thing I
did
was-
increase it.
If you did not, because you're still undecided between the $10 and the $20 flat rate on the penalty that you're gonna charge them.
No, it's 10%.
It's 10%.
You're gonna change
Yeah.
it to 10%.
So if it's a $50 bill,
$5.
$5.
So that's a manual entry or you want?
No, it's
Automatically hits.
automatically can calculate it.
Isn't that amazing, but it won't do the budget bill?
Yeah.
I don't.
I can say it did it. It was
And all that, so.
it did budget billing, but the presentation to the customer,
Yeah.
and they were so confused. And it was much easier to take it off. Like I said, we didn't get the pushback from those 200. Probably 10% of them complained about it. But we can revisit it.
Good on the 10 days.
Yeah, I'm good. I think
Because
that's,
they've got a lot of.
because it's actually 24
If you
days.
look at cable television, you've almost got to pay the day you get your bill. I mean, I think we're
Yeah.
very generous.
Don't ask for credit when it goes out.
Absolutely not.
So
Okay.
if y'all are okay with us,
Work
we'll
on
bring
the
it,
budget.
we'll bring it to our next meeting and we'll work on the budget side
Okay.
as well.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Reynolds, you want to talk about City Hall? Do you want Ed to talk for you?
No, I don't. No.
What are you pointing at?
I would.
What are you pointing to?
How about we just do some
Ed
ventriloquism?
always gets what he wants. They wanna
Okay.
ask Ed.
I'll be more than happy to tell you all about City Hall project.
All right.
We are bidding it this Thursday. So, we're
Didn't
hoping
it win?
Thursday at 2 o'clock in this room. So we're hoping to get some good bids on it. Just to let you all know, we
The
will,
bids are going out.
no, ma'am, we are receiving bids.
Oh. okay.
Receiving bids. Remember, I came to y'all about a month ago and told y'all we were bidding it out. Now we're receiving bids on it. This Thursday at 2 o'clock in this room. Just to let you all know, we're hoping good bids. Changes are coming to not only you all, but everybody else in this building as well. Starting sometime around the 1st of October, you all will be meeting at the police department and not in this room anymore because this room will be
We need
occupied.
security.
That's very appropriate.
Close to election time, we're gonna need you, Chief.
So that's a change. And also, the planning department has worked on changing all the locations for all of their meetings as well. I think most of them will be at the police department. Some of them will be at some other locations. And so those changes are coming, hopefully on Thursday.
And also, if they have anything stored in the basement, they need to get it
I'm
out.
not sure they have anything in the
You
basement.
never
but, So,
They have how long to get it out? 2
till
weeks?
September 15th.
Get it out of the basement. All right.
Have a boat down in the basement. do you?
And are you starting on the third floor?
Um,
Down or
The,
where-
the way that's going, the contractor gets the basement for the duration of the project, for their layout area and also all the work in that area. The rest of the building is broke up into sections. And this room, the reason we're vacating this room is this room will be used as the go-between for, so if they're working on engineering stormwater, for example, those folks will be coming in here for that duration. When they're ready to work on planning, those folks will be coming up here. So we're going to move folks around, and it'll be up to the contractor, whether they start third floor,
Okay.
first floor, second floor. We'll work with them and come up with the schedule for figuring out. I think the way we've got it worked, they can work on the third floor, one of the sections in the third floor, and one of the sections on the first or second floor at the same time. So it's possible that we'll have 3 floors under construction at one time.
Hey, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Just because I'm curious about it. I know sometimes when you start the bid process, you start to get feedback from companies because they might have questions about it, make sure they're getting their bid. Do you expect that we'll have some local contractors bidding on this?
Local subcontractors, yes. I'm not anticipating a local general contractor. There was, the pre-bid meeting we had 2 weeks ago was a mandatory pre-bid for general contractors, not their subs, but the general contractor.
So no local.
We had 7 GCs show up. 1 was local. It's NPM. Not sure they're going to bid on this job. It might be, the scope might be a little bit bigger than what they're used to working on right now. They're a good contractor. They've done work for the city in the past. But I hope they participate and I hope they bid, but the other 6 were, I think there's 1 out of Lexington, 2 out of Bardstown, 2 out of Louisville, and 1 out of Campbellsville or somewhere down in that area. I can't remember exactly where.
Well, that's a good sign. At least we're getting bidders.
It's busy though.
Yes, it is very busy.
The price is gonna be higher than it.
Yes, yeah. There was a lot of local side that you can, the room was full when we had our pre-bid. So, and it's bidders that are, the Lexington company is working in town already. The couple of Louisville companies are working in town already. So it's contractors that are already here. So, sorry about the confusion.
You know, Scott, one thing, if we were meeting at the fire station, we'd probably get to eat.
Probably.
Chief's thinking about it.
We can have cake and ice cream.
Cake and ice
Always have cake and ice cream.
I will let the building that you all go to dictate what kind of food you all get. How's that sound?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Corey?
Ranch.
You know,
Ranch
the
Junior.
chief said that the firefighters don't quite cook like they used to
Really?
so much.
What's up? You got more per diem?
Hello, Mayor, City Council. I'm just here to give you all an update on what's going on at wastewater department. Since the new budget's rolled out in July, we've hired 2 new employees, 1 for operation and 1 for maintenance, mainly trying to get towards those Class 4 certifications that are required to operate our facility. We're also working with the water district on the Glendale Sewer Project, working with them. They'll be going in through our plant or right outside the gate to connect to our sewer, and also working with them on a few agreements. One being the wholesale agreement that you all have worked on in the past to do the study towards it. Haven't actually gotten to an actual rate yet. That'll be done in the future. And also going over the control authority agreement, which basically gives us, the city, mainly us down to the wastewater treatment plant, the authority to actually go out and monitor the locations in the Glendale service area, whether they're industrial, commercial, or residential, to do inspections and to make sure that nothing is going in the sewer that shouldn't be. And those things will be coming to you in the future, but right now that's really all we have going on at the moment, unless you all have anything else you want us to do.
What you treat?
Roughly 6 to 7 million gallons a day.
What's your capacity?
Capacity is 13 million on a normal day. Peak capacity is 30 or 29. Oh yes.
Corey, would you say we're treating average now?
Average about 7.
7.
We still have that mass spectrometer that's in the lab that was sitting
Yes.
there.
Yes.
You know, when Scott Fitke was there, I talked to him about possibly donating that to the college, ECTC, if we're never gonna use it. I mean, it's not doing us any good just sitting there. And it was what, about a $50,000 mass spectrometer?
Believe so. We did actually talk about that. Actually, it's my first year, I guess. So about 3 months when I was here, we had actually talked to the college about it and to a few of the industries to see if any of them were interested in it. And a few of them said they were and actually started to bid on it, but then never went anywhere else. They said they didn't want it because it was a little older than the ones that we had, but we haven't actually talked about giving it away yet at this point. But
ECTC had no interest in it at all. I would think the
not that I
science
remember. I mean, we tried to talk with them. Maybe we talked to the wrong people at the time, but
I can give them a call. If y'all are willing to give it up.
well, I guess that's up to you all if you all are willing to.
That was it, it's going away
We had talked about putting it into the
again. Lot more, Charles.
auction, but we tried to get
You could
interest
put
from
that
each
in
one
surplus
industries.
auction.
Well,
It's like a used embalming machine, baby. Just saying.
but we had looked at it, see if any of the industries or anyone else in town was interested in it, and we didn't see little to no interest in it.
Don't give it to me.
Every city should have.
Well, I don't think we're going to give it away, but
I'll give you $1.
well, I guess we'll see at auction then.
Yeah.
All right, but if that's everything, unless you all have any other questions for me.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so very much. You know, I can remember one time, years and years ago, running for city council, and there was a forum. I think it's the one you fell off the platform.
And said I was going to.
I can't remember where we were, but I remember he fell, but I
Yeah.
remember we were all really, really nervous. And we knew nothing. I mean, they may have. I knew nothing about
We didn't know.
wastewater. Oh my gosh. And I was the first person they asked, and it was like, well, there's this guy named Scott Fifke, and I think I'd have to call him. And right down the line.
Every one of us.
Well, Scott Fifke would be the guy. None of us could answer that.
So now it's Corey.
Corey Bond. Call Corey Bond.
Bond.
Thank you. Bond.
Corey Bond.
Corey.
And not only that, nobody knew who Scott Fifke was.
They said, well, ain't gotta be one sharp dude.
That's
sounded
right.
good.
That's what
It
they
sounded
said,
good.
man. Well, you knew a lot more than we did, didn't we, about wastewater? Okay, you know, we're not meeting September the 4th. Happy Labor Day weekend. We won't meet again until September the 10th. Hallelujah. And, anything you all want to?
I just want to say, Krista, is tomorrow your last day with the Heritage Council?
Oh, goodness.
Want to wish you the best of luck in your new endeavor. It's been great working with you. You've done a lot for the Heritage Council, a lot for promoting Second Saturday and getting that up and going, and you'll be
Bad
missed.
district.
Thank you.
And congratulations. It is great working with Lincoln Trail Ad.
Yes.
That's where Ed
You
Pope
all start.
started out.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I spoke with someone Sunday and they said they're awful anxious for you to get there.
For you to do.
She's been gone a few months. Yeah, I went to her going away party. And it just started stacking it up.
Janice
there.
Rawson.
Well, good luck.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
All right.
Okay, okay.
So Cindy, you all are not going Labor Day because you're.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.